right. Well, we are back again. Blessed to be back again with another episode of Uncharted Alabama. And I'm so honored to have our guest today. But we have John Berry today, guys. So, woo! You get a little. There we go. Get a little.
Thank you both.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You actually are one of my dad's favorite singers. I don't know if he's, in his quiet way has ever, just said like, but he literally, when you came to the golf tournament, he just sat and he's like, I got to sit and watch. I just got to sit and watch. Honored to have you today. We have a Grammy winner, multiple nominations, CMA, ACM, all these kinds of things. And you were inducted into is it South Carolina Music Hall of Fame as well? Congratulations on that. So many different accolades. But no, seriously, thank you so much for being here today.
It's good to be here.
It really is an honor to have you and just looking forward to, just chatting. One of the fun things about the podcast is we kind of go into like talking about you and where you came from, just kind of a brief little bit of, you were born in South Carolina.
Aiken, South
Carolina. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then but spent most of your life in Georgia.
Yeah, I grew up, my family moved to Atlanta when I was 8 years old. And I lived in Atlanta all through high school and graduated high school in 1977.
Okay.
And then I played clubs around Atlanta some. Oddly enough, I became friends with some folks that were on Young Life's staff.
Okay.
Young Life is a Christian organization, works with high school kids. Mm-hmm. And I traveled all around the country playing a lot of different events with them.
Gotcha.
I had a pretty bad motorcycle wreck in 1981 and broke both my legs.
Oh my gosh.
And I was working at a factory in Atlanta and I couldn't do that work anymore.
Yeah.
I couldn't work on a concrete floor and walk around.
Yeah.
And but I could sit on a stool and play guitar. That's what I did, even though I barely survived. Unfortunately, I lived in a house my dad owned, and he wasn't living there any longer, so I stayed there. But it's a house I kind of grew up in, but he moved out. And
did you play, was music, other than like you're saying, traveling around with the youth ministry and everything, was that part of your life, like early music was part of it? Or
my dad helped me build a recording studio in the basement of our house. I recorded my first 3 albums there.
Wow.
In the nighttime, Humble Beginnings came out in 1979. In the Nighttime in 81. Waiting for You in 82. And then the next number of albums I did at other studios. But the first 3 we did in that little studio.
I don't think I knew that was
Chamblee, Georgia. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, they sucked. It's a great story. But it sucked. Horrible. Well, I did an album a number of years ago called Those Were the Days.
Okay, yeah.
That's a great record.
Yeah.
And Kerry Kurt Phillips produced it. Mm-hmm. And Kerry Kurt wrote, the title track was written by Kerry Kurt, and this country singer is very famous. I can't remember his name to save my life. Uh-huh. I can never remember his name. And he'd be so mad at me. But he co-wrote it, and he's co-writer on the song, and he actually sent me a beautiful note thanking me because it's the first time anybody's ever used one of his songs as a title track of their album.
Gotcha. Okay.
But we had this album called Those Were the Days.
Those Were the Days.
And I was playing Dollywood for 5 nights.
Okay.
So I took vinyl copies of all those early records.
Okay.
And I had a turntable that you could play them and it transfers them to digital.
Right.
And I took them with me because I was sitting in this hotel for a week and I could take the time to move those over, and then I clean them up and master them,
Yeah.
But that's the only way I could do it.
Yeah.
And so I sat in that hotel and I transferred these over, and I listened to these old records. And I said, nobody really ever needs to hear these again. And I turned everything off and put a stop to that mess right then and there.
This is over.
The last 2, Things Not the Same and Saddle to Win. Uh-huh. Capitol re-released those 2. Mm-hmm. They're good records.
Yes,
but the first 4, it was a learning process.
That's okay that we learn more from our...
Yeah, you still don't need everybody to know about it.
Yeah, exactly. You still need it out in public, right?
Yeah. You don't need it, and you don't need to sell it.
Yeah. And at least
charge people for it,
people, yeah, they're hard-earned dollar,
Yeah.
maybe not so much for
Yeah.
that, but yeah, that's, oh my goodness.
That was a
that's
free
hilarious.
gift.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. It's a free, yeah, it comes with your gift bag. Yeah.
That's when you know it's not very good. But
Yeah,
anyway.
no, that's awesome. I love that. That's a great story, or great stories actually. But growing up in Georgia, what do you remember? Do you remember like when Alabama kind of sort of came? Like what? Do you have sort of an early memory of what is this? What's going on? Was there a song or a people talking about it or anything like
Yeah,
that?
I worked at a place called Herman Miller. This is in before I had my motorcycle record in '81.
Uh-huh.
I've been working there for a couple of years. So sometime in late '80 or '81,
Okay.
they were starting to pop pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was one of the ladies there that worked in one of the departments there in the warehouse, and she loved the guys.
Yeah.
And that's all we heard about.
Yeah.
And of course, my home was in Alabama,
Yeah.
and all these great songs would be played on the radio, and when they'd come on, we'd hear them from what was called upholstery. We'd hear the radio, it'd be turning up over there, and it was just great stuff. Of course, when I found out they played Myrtle Beach a lot, because that's where we
Would go.
Myrtle Beach, Surfside Beach,
Yep.
just south there.
Yeah.
And we still go there.
Yeah.
And so it was very intriguing, and so there was some great music, and then when I started playing music, one of my favorite songs to play was "Old Flame." We would play "Old Flame." That would kick off our second set every night
Okay, cool.
for years.
Yeah.
And
So who played the piano?
it was just me and a bass player,
Oh,
acoustic guitar, and
okay, got you. Okay, I was gonna say I didn't know if you had a piano because they always say that anybody that tries to, if they have like a 4-piece band or
Yeah.
five, whatever, and they say, that piano part, the intro is not as easy as you think it is.
oh, I'm sure, yeah.
But that's awesome.
We just skipped that part.
Yeah, exactly. We just left the piano out.
We
We're
just
not gonna
getting
do
it.
that.
I saw her stand.
Oh, but no, that's awesome. So Old Flame, that was your kind of
Love that song.
kind of the go-to.
And,
yeah.
but the guys just did such great music, and the harmonies are amazing, and they're just a great song selection.
Yeah.
And you got folks like Mac and I contributing to your songwriting. It's a pretty high bar. So
One of the greatest songs ever. Your Love Amazes Me.
oh, thank you. Chuck Jones and Amanda Hunt Taylor wrote that song.
Yes.
I was just the lucky guy who drew the card.
Tell me about. I would love to hear how that came about because I think that's always so interesting how the song came to you.
Well, I was working with Herky Williams, who was working with Jimmy Bowen. Chuck Howard was going to produce my record with Capitol, and we were looking for songs for me. Herky is this great song guy.
Right.
He worked for Hamstein Music, which was a Jimmy Bowen company, and Chuck Howard may have had a hand in that company as well. We were looking through songs, and we found several of Chuck's, and one. I don't know if we ran across Your Love Amazes Me immediately or not, but I love Chuck's songs, and they said, we'll get you a reel of Chuck's songs.
Got to put it all together for you. Yeah, I got you.
Maybe 15 songs
Yeah.
or something. And so I was living in Athens, Georgia, so we were traveling back and forth. So I-24s were littered with horrible CDs of songs, horrible songs. But yeah,
Sling them out there like a frisbee.
Frisbee out.
Whew, over Mont Eagle. Yeah.
We don't need anybody to ever hear that one again. And they landed right on some of my early records, but
Only the bad ones that you didn't want anybody to hear again. Exactly.
but but I was listening to Chuck's CD, and it's like song after song. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And I ended up recording. We wrote a couple together, and all in total, of the 10 songs on my debut album, I think Chuck was co-writer on 5, maybe 6.
Gotcha.
I told him we should form a duo.
Yeah.
Call it Chuck Berry.
Yeah.
Why not?
I think it's still a great idea. I mean, listen, there's no time like today.
No, I'm
right?
telling you. So, but Your Love Amazes Me was one of those songs,
Yeah.
and I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh. I got home and got my band together and said, listen to a few of these songs, and we worked up Your Love Amazes Me.
Okay.
And I'm playing in Athens, University of Georgia,
Yeah.
college town.
College town.
Our job was for 300 college students to roar from 10 to 2.
Yep. 10 to 2. Let's say that again.
10 to 2.
Because I don't know if people can appreciate that enough. You got to roar from 10 to 2, right?
And we were good.
Yeah. Out the door. From what I understand, you had lines out the door.
Yeah.
People packed in.
Had a lot of fun.
And you have to be great to entertain, a college crowd, to really entertain them where they want to come spend their money.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm much more boring now. I was much more entertaining back then. But
laid back. We'll say you're laid back now.
Maybe. Yeah. But we're doing Old Flame, and we're doing all these songs, a lot of what I call reactionary songs.
Yeah.
When the songs that cause a physical reaction, strum the guitar, hit that G chord, go boom.
Mm-hmm.
A long, long time ago, instant reaction.
Start singing, yes.
They start, and then I saw you stare, and people singing along when the word goes.
There's an old, and then everybody, it's like a sing along.
It's that reactionary. And those chords to Sweet Home Alabama.
Yes.
Yeah, that's reactionary music, Yes. And that's what we did, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we'd slip in. We're playing at O'Malley's.
Yeah.
We were, by the time we got to playing at O'Malley's, I've been playing there for years in Athens. And this guy who ran the club hired me to come play there one night a week, but I couldn't play anywhere else in town.
Oh.
And he paid me more than I got made playing 5 nights a week.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's a good trade-off.
He said, you can go play anywhere else, but you can't play in Athens.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean, it was, if you want to come see John Barry play, it was Saturday night, and it was at O'Malley's, and that was just it,
That's fantastic.
And we slip in. Your Love Amazes Me.
Yeah.
Amongst the roar.
Mm-hmm.
And 500 college students get quiet for 3 minutes. And then they go back to roaring.
Yeah, right.
And but man, and then they start requesting that song.
Yeah.
We're like, man, we're on something good here.
Absolutely.
So we ended up going to do some showcases and things, and that was one of the songs we used, got a record deal.
But you knew when you heard it.
Oh, yeah.
Right. You knew, you were just like, that hit me in the heart.
Yeah, going down I-24 towards Chattanooga.
Yep.
On I-24. And 65 miles an hour, the windows down. We heard it. It's like, holy crap. What a song.
It is. Well, another thing, aside from your huge hits on country radio, that I think's really cool, may not be the right word, but it's cool to me, is that how freely you are speaking about your faith. That's what your Grammy was. You won a Grammy. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I was part of the Amazing Grace Project.
Yes.
Salute to Country. So country Salute to Gospel.
Yes.
And I sang Blessed Assurance on that record.
Exactly.
Brian Bannister produced it, and it was pretty cool to be a part of that.
Yeah. But like I said, I think it's cool that you speak freely about it, and you sing about it, and it's just a big part of your life. And I think when talking about the group Alabama, a lot of times most of the time people don't necessarily always think that.
Yeah.
But Dad and Teddy and Jeff, like, they put out 2 Songs of Inspiration albums, and basically they covered everything from old hymnals, that they grew up singing, and there were some originals on there as well. But I think that's something that's just deep rooted in, country music, as far as just where you come from. And most people grew up singing in churches. And was that part of your experience as well? Or?
My mom loves gospel music, and I still have memories of being 4 years old in Aiken, South Carolina, at this little church, and just almost like a home church.
Yeah.
But it's like an old house, best I can remember. But I can still remember sitting in the pew, or in the chairs, didn't have pews, and being a little fella. By that time, Sunday morning, I was getting tired.
Yeah.
And my head being in my mama's lap, laying down.
Yeah.
And hearing her sing.
Oh.
And but my mom wasn't just singing gospel music. My mom was singing about Jesus she loved.
Right.
And she wasn't just singing some old hymns because it was something meaningful and something emotional. And she said it was something real
that she felt.
And it was something that was part of her. And, and that's a whole different story.
That is a whole. That's
Yeah,
a whole.
my mom sang gospel music on Sunday morning, and she practiced it all week.
Yeah, didn't just pop in there and
And it just
phone it in, basically. Yeah,
she would just pop in there and sing Christian music on Sunday morning.
yeah, she lived it.
And she lived her Christian walk every day. So
Absolutely. Well, and like I said, that's one of the reasons my dad wanted to, or the group Alabama, but wanted to do when they did the songs of inspiration, just talking about that. Like I said, it's something I think a lot of times people don't necessarily think, oh, okay, Alabama and gospel music or whatever, but they all grew up in, churches and singing, and my dad and his family, my granny, my pawpaw, and my Aunt Reba and Aunt Rachel, they went around and did singings, at different churches, and they sang for everything. It would be birthdays, it may be a funeral, it may be a wedding, whatever, but I remember growing up and them saying, "Yeah, we're going to a singing," and that's. But that was just an ingrained part of their life, and the album that they did, or the albums that they did, it was songs that my pawpaw, one of them was "I'm the Man," Thomas, and they did it with Ralph Stanley.
Oh, nice.
And but it was one, they did that. They picked and chose songs that their family sang, or that their mom sang, or their dad, different things, and some of them were songs that we don't really hear that much, and that's why it was kind of a unique, thing when they did those projects. They had a couple of originals on there too, but I just think it's a cool thing to mention because, like I said, I know it's an amazing part of your life, and but a lot of times people don't think of the group Alabama and go, the song on the Songs of Inspiration or a gospel song, but it is a huge part of their life.
Yeah,
And,
I had a really great experience. I came over to Muscle Shoals to write with Lenny LeBlanc.
Yes.
And I drove over, got there late morning this particular day, and he said, "Why don't we go grab a bite of lunch before we get started?"
Yeah.
So we went to a little meet and three downtown. I can't remember the name of it, but in walks Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "Y'all got room for one more?" And I said, "Yes."
Sure.
So I'd never met him before. I was like,
"Oh yeah,
it's Elvis."
Well, starstruck, yeah, starstruck.
Because I fell in love with Mac when There's No Problem Here album came out.
Yes.
And I listened to that album constantly.
Yeah.
And it had Opinion on Love on it.
Right.
And great album. And so and he said, "John, what are you doing here in town?" I said, "Well, I had an idea for a song here to write with Lenny, and got room for a third."
Yeah.
So he came to write with us, and I talk about stoked.
Yeah.
So we wrote a song together. I had an idea I'd gotten at church, and but we ended up writing a song together, "Real Man, Real Life, Real God," and really cool to write that with Mac, and we had it finished up, and I got just something was missing, and I ended up writing the bridge myself.
Oh, okay.
So that was kind of nice, but it was a lot of fun. Then we had a little TV show called Songs and Stories, and Mac was one of my guests, and we had been talking about some of his music, and I told him how much I loved the song "Opinion on Love."
Yeah.
And we actually played it together on the show.
Oh, how cool!
Which I don't
Bucket list moment.
Yeah, it was. And I don't know if you're ever familiar with that song.
Yeah.
But it's like the guitar part's like, oh my gosh! And I learned it. And I could never get it right.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, "Mac, I could never. What are you doing here? Because I can't get it right." He said, "Well, play it." I said, he said, "You're playing it right. It doesn't sound right." He said, "But because there's three guitars, you're just playing one of them."
Okay.
I said, "You're cheating."
There's the secret. There's the secret. Yeah, those guitar licks that you can't do.
Yeah, you're
like,
playing. Oh. You're playing one of them, and there's two other parts going on.
You cheated. Exactly.
And of course, when he plays it by himself, he's so magical,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But it was a lot of fun to be able to do that. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So I hear that are you heading to Ireland?
Yeah. I haven't been in a few years, but I've played there a lot especially my early years of out touring.
Yeah.
And I don't know how.
Yeah.
But I've got to go there a lot. Some folks contacted Brian Smith, my manager, about us doing a fan trip, and our guide is a archaeologist historian from that area.
Oh, wow!
So we're going to learn more about Ireland than most people in Ireland.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You'll be an expert when you leave.
Oh,
right?
yeah. So and I'll get to perform for the group some, and of course Robin will be with me, so I'll make her sing.
Right.
And but then we're gonna stop. They're getting a schedule for me to perform a few pubs
How
along the way.
fun. Well, that's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
can't wait. So I don't know where I'll perform at, but
it's sold out. So people, sorry, when you guys hear the podcast, it's done. Like they can't,
yeah, yeah.
it's sold out, which is a good thing. But yeah,
Yeah, it sold out really quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's only 30 guests.
Well, let me, one thing I want to for sure mention, and say thank you to you is, my alma mater, which is also my dad's alma mater. But when the tornado came through Jacksonville, Alabama, and hit Jacksonville State University, you were very supportive and very much in, from the beginning, and wanting to be a part of helping out. And you did in an amazing and huge way. And I just want to tell you thank you for that. And you took the time.
Well, I'll tell you.
And you and Brian, like you guys definitely, yeah, it was kind of, in that early go, they were trying to get stuff organized. It was kind of crazy. And y'all stayed in there. We're like, hey, we're here if you need it. And it just meant so much, and raised millions of dollars for our school. And we're back to it, and everything's amazing.
So when we heard about that, and then of course I'd known your dad and had gone to school there. And,
Yeah.
And so I was glad to help out. And so it's quite the campus. It's a great, very comfortable feeling, friendly campus. And,
we're the friendliest campus in the South, is what we say.
Oh,
That's our thing. The school's thriving and growing, but that was a really big moment. There were a lot of buildings damaged, and so it. Again, I just want to say thank you.
We saw all the damage when we were there for the event, and it's still evident of all the
absolutely
tornado damage and stuff.
And now the stuff's built back, and it's just, I mean, like I said, we've hit 10,000 students, and we're growing, and so that's a big deal for us. Like that's been one of the goals for several years, but it wouldn't have, it couldn't have gotten to where it is without you donating your time and coming and helping. And so that's a big thank you from me and from my dad, but our family, just that you stepped in from the very beginning.
Your dad and Alabama had meant a lot to me. I won the Marlboro Country Music Talent Roundup in 1987, and I got to open for the guys in Atlanta at the Omni. When you win, you can't be in it again for 5 years.
Right.
Well, they reopened it up to past winners the following year because they decided to have a national finals.
Okay.
And so I entered it again next year in 88, and I won it again. And so I got to open for the guys again.
That's awesome.
And I'm walking backstage, dressed in strictly nothing fancy, just walking down. And your dad's walking down the corridor. Hey, walking by, hey, John, good to see you again. And I'm like, did he just say hey to me?
Hey, John, yeah.
And hey, John, he said, actually, I hadn't seen him in a year.
Yeah.
And when I did see him a year ago, I was a contest winner.
Yeah.
At some show in Atlanta.
Right.
And he remembered me, a year later when I was walking down the aisle.
Yeah.
That was pretty darn cool.
Pretty awesome.
And he's just been very, very kind. Anytime I've ever been on events and different things, he's always been really pretty sweet.
Yeah.
They gave me a beautiful belt buckle at one of the events we were at.
June Jam.
June Jam.
I was gonna go to that. Yeah, you're going into that.
Yeah,
thank you for doing that too, being a part of that.
Prominent place in my home. And it's very, very nice. It's one of the coolest ornamental gifts we've received from anybody. So everybody comes by, we have visitors over and stuff, and they happen to see that, like, what's that, man? It's June Jam.
Exactly.
That's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. So you were talking about opening for Alabama and everything. What did you think of their stage attire? A lot of times with country music and things like that, things kind of leading up to them kind of going out on tour was sort of, maybe a little more costumes or uniforms kind of like bands. It was like we have matching suits and different things like that. Did you have any, were you kind of like, who are these guys? Are they kind of crazy or?
Thank goodness. I just get off work and go play.
Exactly. That's kind of it. That was kind of the vibe.
Yes. Working man country music.
Is there a song? I know you said you did Old Flame. Is there any other Alabama song that if you could cover an Alabama song? I know you already did Old Flame. Is there any other song that you would feel like that you would be like, I want to, I'd like to.
I love My Home is in Alabama.
Yeah.
That melody is just Ding dang.
And it's
Did
all over.
the guys write that?
Yes,
Your
my dad
write
and
that?
Teddy wrote that in Benton's Trailer Park in South Carolina.
Man.
Yes.
That's just,
It's so different.
it's just very cool.
You can't go wrong with that one. You can't go wrong
Let's
with that
go.
one. So, all right. So, John, we're talking about Alabama legacy and how we're all connected and all these wonderful different things. But what is, musically, personally, what do you feel like your legacy, or what do you want your legacy to be?
I hope I'll have a great legacy with my children. As I was a dad who really loved them and cared for them.
Yeah.
And worked hard to provide for them. And for my wife, Rob, we've been married pushing on 40 years, maybe 38 years this year. And
It's amazing. Congratulations.
Yeah, a lot of people in Athens lost a lot of money on that bet.
Listen, I don't care how being married to a musician it's just crazy. Like, it's just a crazy kind of situation. So that's kudos to you guys. That's awesome.
Because most of us are mentally unstable.
It's true. I mean, love you, but it's kind of true.
That's true. At least emotionally unstable.
Right. Yeah.
And so she's put up with a lot. But most importantly, I hope that when people think of me, they think that, he's a good singer, he sings some good songs, and I hear he's a great dad and good husband. But he loved Jesus. That's. I hope people remember that more than anything.
I think that's the most important.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's the most important thing that you can say about somebody, I think.
Yeah.
In my opinion. No, not I think. I know.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah. I know that. And then before we kind of get out of here, as far as just in music in general, and like, what do you think would be kind of like the thing that you would say, I think this is going to be Alabama's legacy?
I think if you looked up the definition of Alabama, it'd be music of the common man. I think that's one of the things that your dad really embodied, these guys that work at the plant and work out in the fields, and he was singing for them. He wasn't singing to them or at them.
Yeah.
He's singing for them. He's saying things they wanted to say. And I think that's going to be a lot of the legacy that goes down the line. He was the voice, the musical voice for a lot of overlooked people.
You're going to make me tear up. That's important. But I think that is, like, John, that's a huge statement. And because you can't say it any better than what you just said, but that's phenomenal. And I absolutely, I agree with you in that way, that it's just that connection of not singing above anybody's heads and not overlooking anybody, like you said.
This is the way of saying I ain't better than nobody else here at the trailer park.
And I grew up in the trailer park. I remember our shag carpet and just being grateful and feeling blessed every day, and feel blessed to be able to do this podcast. Feel blessed that you graced me with your presence today and your time to be able to come in and talk about all this kind of stuff. And it's important. It's important stuff. Talking about what you're doing, talking about Alabama, how we're all connected. That's the reason I'm doing it. Yeah. Well, John, again, thank you so much. Taking the time to come here really means a lot. And so I just appreciate that. And so, we look forward to seeing everything that you're doing. Everybody check it out. JohnBerryMusic.com. JohnBerry.com. And then your handles are John Berry Music. Yeah. Okay. All the handles.
At John Berry Music.
Yes. Facebook and Instagram and whatever else is out there. We'll just leave it as it is.
MySpace, whatever.
MySpace, exactly. Whatever new ones they come out with, all that good stuff. So who knows? I'm old school, so I'm just barely hanging on with Instagram and Facebook. So, but thank you again. Thanks everybody for listening. We want to just encourage you guys always, another episode here of Uncharted Alabama, but we want to encourage you guys to keep your eyes on the road, keep your heart in the music, and roll on.